Well, the mystery thickens as some theories are starting to get true in the community, yet at the same time, one cannot guess exactly what is happening around here. It's me, the angry and offended despair reviewer, although I only technically review Eden Zero nowadays, even though I one day will won't review as much anymore. And this is chapter 188, and we see some interesting situations here, almost. First up, the cover page actually details a young Wise back when he was, well, uh, lost his mother and had a robot. And actually, the funny thing is that robot is modeled after Griff from Ravemaster. This actually suggests that robot who taught them Machina Maker actually was a Griff-like robot. Well, Wise did say it was a family-like robot, but still, that is kind of funny. Although, although Wise did say it took him years, he still looks relatively young when he learned that. Either way, back to the situation at hand. Shiki questions how Wizard knew Witch, and Wizard actually reveals that he didn't know Witch personally. He only possessed all the data relating to Witch. But the memories didn't lie. In that memory, they had actually met, but they were also two different people. So that makes Shiki think back on that mysterious line that Hermit once said about why is it that Ziggy erased some things of their memories. Was it on purpose or was it something else? We still don't know ourselves, to be honest. But then Shiki begins to question that maybe he erased the Darkstar's memories too. It was something he didn't want them to know. Of course, Wizard denies this, or even says that even if it was true, Ziggy must have had his reasons. Ironically, I think one of those same things Witch said, or at least what Shiki said back when he still believed his grandfather could be saved. He tanks an attack of lightning ether and still wondered what is going on, saying that if you were friends with Witch, maybe we could be friends too. Then we see a brief flashbacks of, not brief flashback, brief flashes of the rest of the gang, Witch trying to square off against Clown, who is having time to make her difficult to balance on the rope, as well as somehow creating commentary. Rebecca almost falls off, but grabs the a rope in an indecent looking positions with her, but also with her overdrive tail, which is a bit too quick, which Clown mocks off. Wise tries to fight Killer, but Killer, true to his name, decides to use sneak attacks, or at least psychological warfare, given the fact that he has transported Wise into what actually almost looks like a haunted hospital. Who knows, maybe he will create some psychological image of him seeing his dead mom. I mean, it would make sense for a killer, you know. So, his role as an assassin is to, well, blind Wise. He even disrupting his scanner, so it will make it more difficult. And Homura is also struggling for now against Brigade, can barely fend off an attack, and also not scratch his armor, which is actually something I also assumed that Homura is going to learn how to cut Brigade's armor, and Brigade is not gonna like that. Although his words about saying no blade can pass through my armor, we know that is not exactly true. Granted, that wasn't blades, but Jaguar made quite easy wreckage of Brigade 1, so it's not impossible. Finally, we switch back to the Shiki and Wizard situations. Wizard feels Shiki's words are nonsense. But Shiki says that once upon a time Ziggy taught him how it's important to friends, but he knows that Ziggy is not here. The fact is, Then Wizard says something I'm not exactly sure what it means. Something like Lord Ziggy had a short lapse of reason. So it seems to imply that he's saying that once upon a time he had no reason, or he feels like now he has none. It's difficult for me to understand what the line is. Shiki gets a new revelation, actually confirming something that also had been questioned. There's a lot about Ziggy's past that does not make sense right now. Ziggy told everybody, to the audience, that the memories when he was the kind-hearted Ziggy, or light Ziggy as I like to call him, was false because he had forgotten his previous memories, meaning apparently the dark Ziggy was always, well, the true personality. And yet, what Shiki says here is that we don't know exactly when the Dark Stars were created. If it was because of Rebecca, and it's even more confusing now when it seems to imply that Witch and Wizard knew each other in a previous life, implying that even though Wizard says that they are the second type generations based upon the four shining stars, it seems to imply that even the dark stars were made, but the dark stars are an implication of evil, while the shining stars were an implication of good. So what I'm trying to say here is, if they were both created at the same time, or at least existed almost at the same time, then their memories being deleted, that happened when Ziggy was still light Ziggy and not dark Ziggy. So the bigger question is, why did light Ziggy erase the memories if he was good? Because light Ziggy was a genuine good man, unlike dark Ziggy. So that is the big $1,000,000 question. What is actually going on here? What did he want to know? Tired of all this, Wizard attacks Shiki with one last attack, Cosmic Thunder. But in true Eden Zero fashion, or in Fairy Tail fashion I should say, Shiki gets up and actually crushes Wizard's Abominum. Actually in a position that almost looks very similar to an Acnologia destroyed Godzilla in Fairy Tail. Of course a lot of people are going to complain about that, but I am not! Because this is exactly how Hiro Mashima should write his mangas. And if you don't like that, then don't read the manga. This is only how it works. The villain looks like they had the upper hand, but the heroes will always bounce back. That is exactly how a manga should be. He even confirms to Wizard that Wizard didn't absorb his full ether anyway, only a tenth. Apparently revealing that Shiki could be selective in showing the ether, and now he had to show his true power because you had to fight Ziggy. You can't waste your power on mooks. That is exactly it. However, Wizard was stronger than he thought, so it's likely that he still used a bit of his power. So Wizard can only warn the other Dark Stars. But the chapter ends as Shiki asks Wizard one last question about a theory that perhaps Ziggy knew he was gonna go crazy. And yeah, that is something also. Because there is another piece of the puzzle that is still also not unanswered. And that is Pino's creation. Well, apparently he created Pino back on Grand Bell. And Pino took the ship, and we all know the situations with the chronophage and ended up being broken, repaired by Old Wise, and then captured by Sibir and her memories erased. So the bigger question though comes to line is that Pino was created also when Light Ziggy existed. And now Shiki is wondering, did Light Ziggy knew he would become Dark Ziggy? Because there are some situations in these situations that makes the question. And what I'm trying to say in that is, if Dark Ziggy's words are true, then he was always evil. He lost his memories somehow and became Light Ziggy. Why did he lose his memories? And yet he traveled around the ground finding his memories. Learning the Magimek art was a natural at it, before he actually had the Shining Stars. Is it possible it traveled then with the Dark Stars because their memories are also erased? Then he retired on Granbell, built the, or actually before he did that, he built the Shining Stars, still traveled to find Mother, found Shiki, retired for the evening, and presumably died, and then was resurrected as Dark. I mean, I'm not putting the clues together, because what I'm saying is actually not making any more sense. However, the line goes on the saying there is a connection. That perhaps, yes, Light's maybe Dark Ziggy is true. Maybe that the Dark Ziggy always were the true Ziggy. However, it's very also likely that Light's Ziggy was a selection that the Dark Ziggy did. Therefore, he knew he would become evil again and lose everything that he cherished. So maybe everything, the preparations, the inheriting of the Zero to Shiki, training Shiki, as well as building Pino, maybe all of that was a, a way to attack, to make sure that Dark Ziggy will be stopped. But we have no proof yet. So give me your thoughts if you have any.